Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. So in this video we shall continue with the further topics of introduction to C++. In our previous video we have completed with the characteristics of C++ and then we have seen the character set of C++ programming language. Now what exactly this character set is? The character set is nothing but it consists of the valid characters that a C++ programming language can understand. Okay, so how we have in English language, like 26 alphabets are helping us to have the words, then framing the sentences so that we can able to read and write. Similarly, in C++ programming language we do have the character set that includes the letters, okay, which supports for both the uppercase and the lowercase. Then it includes the digits, that is from 0 to 9. Then it also includes the special characters, and it also supports for the white spaces. Say for example, anytime if I have to give the horizontal tab, if I want to give the blank space, okay, if I want to have the carriage written, it will make the cursor to bring at the beginning of the line. Okay, it brings the cursor to the beginning of the line. New line in the sense it makes the contents to appear in the next line. If two sentences are there, I want the next sentence to appear in the new line, then I have to use the new line here. Then form feed, if I want to take the contents to the new page, if I want, then I can use the form feed. So by using the this character set, the C++ programming language can be is being developed. Okay, then let us see the further concepts here, that is the tokens. So what is a token? Token is nothing but the smallest individual unit in the program or a lexical unit. See, in C++ programming language, okay, the entire source code is been made up of the different kinds of tokens. Source code in the sense what? The code what we write as a program. Say for an example, I'll show you one simple program. Yes, here comes the program here. So this is the program to add the two numbers, that is a is equals to 5 and b is equals to 10, and I'm taking one more variable known as c. So wherein I'm calculating a plus b and then I'm storing the result in c, and then I'm able to print as the sum of two numbers. So where is my result is stored? The result is stored in a variable known as c. That's what I'm printing here. But when you look at this program, you'll not understand why how did I write this main function, why did I take that int only, okay, how did I use the variable, why I have taken it as a is equals to, why not I have taken as x is equals to, why didn't I have taken z is equals to 10. I can take anything. Now this entire program, it has been made up of the tokens. Now I can call these are the programming elements. Okay, I can call them as the programming elements. So this complete program, it is made up of the different kinds of tokens. So what are the different kinds of tokens are available for us? That is keywords. Keywords can also be referred to as reserved words. We are having the identifiers, we are having constants or literals, we are having the punctuators, we are having the operators. That means the entire C++ program can be built by using these tokens, wherein we can use the keywords, we can use identifiers, constants, punctuators and operators. So how in the English language we are making use of the alphabets, plus we are using some punctuators we are making use, like exclamatory, comma, we are using such punctuators, punctuation marks we are using, quotations we are using, isn't it? Same way in C++ programming language also we have the different kinds of tokens. With the help of tokens we are able to construct the statements, we are able to create the definition, construct the definitions, we are able to construct the declarations, we can able to even create the complete program by the help of tokens. Now when you look at this one, hash include IOStream, this is one of the header file, isn't it? So we have already discussed, this is nothing but one of the C++ characteristics, that is modular programming. What does modular programming says? That it is a we have the different modules which could be tested, okay, and executed independently modules, or we can even say them as the different source codes we are having. So those modules or the source code can be linked to your application program at the time of execution, so that it reduce the cost as well as it reduce the software development time. Now why did I include this header file as an IO stream? Because I'm making use of an function as cout. Cout actually stands for console output. If I haven't included this module, okay, what I would have written to print, it's a printing statement, right? We have already discussed this part in the OOPS concepts, right? So if I had not used this header file, I should have written some 100 lines code extra to this program. Because I have a built-in header file like as an IO stream, we are having this module, okay, I am able to write the code in a very short form. Then I have one more header file as conio.h, because this conio.h I am making use of a function known as getch. Later I will be telling what is the use of this getch. Okay, now this entire program is been made up of the different kinds of tokens, as I said, as an identifiers, as I said, as a variables. Now int actually tells, it's a keyword, okay, it's a keyword. Int actually tells as an integer, okay, it tells as an integer in the sense it represents the whole number, the number which doesn't have any fractional part or the decimal part. Therefore I have given as a is equals to 5, then I am specifying b is equals to 10. So how do you will get to know all these are nothing but the tokens? Now in detail we shall discuss what are the different types of tokens, how did I write this program. Okay, the first one token that we have to discuss is about the identifiers. Now identifier is nothing but it is a name given to the programming elements such as variables, arrays and functions, etc. Now what are the variables? In my previous programming example I have taken that a is equals to 5. A is a variable name. Okay, when I write as int a is equal to 5, it says that a is a variable, it's a container. So a is a variable which holds the value that is 5, and this is nothing but int specifies it is a data type. What kind of value it is holding? It tells that it has to hold the whole number only, whole number, that is without any fractional part. Similarly, comma I am specifying one more variable I am taking as b is equals to 10. So here it is saying that b is another variable that is holding the value as 10, and it is also again of type what? Integer, that is it represents the whole number. One more variable I have taken as c, but I didn't give any value to it. Instead I am performing the addition. I am performing the a plus b. Whenever I am referring as a, actually it is been replaced with 5. Whenever I am referring with b, it is been replaced with 10. So 5 plus 10. So what is the c is holding? C is holding 15. So here what happens? It is not c is equals to a plus b. It is actually a plus b is equal to c. This is exactly how the in C++ programming language takes place. It's an assignment operator. The value 5 is been assigned to a variable as a. The value 10 is been assigned to a variable that is b. Always assignment takes from right hand side to the left hand side. It is not like mathematics b is equal to 10. It is actually 10 equals, the value of 10 is being moved in a variable called as b. Therefore, when I perform the addition, that is 5 plus 10, that value will be stored in the variable known as c. Then by using the printing statement, that is console output, I am printing the sum of two numbers as where my answer is there. Answer is there in the variable known as c. So I am writing as c. So when I refer as c, it has been replaced with the value here as 15. Therefore I'll get an output as the sum of two number as 15. Now what I'm trying to tell is identifiers are the nothing but they are helping you to give the names for the variables. Now a is an identifier because I have given the name to the a is one of the programming element. I have given the name as a. I have given the name as a to it. Similarly, we have one more variable known as b. I have given the name as b to that particular variable. So see, like this, I can even give the names to the arrays. So what is array? See, whenever I want to hold the data of 10 students or 20 or 100 students, if I want to hold the data of more number of students, okay, then I can go for the arrays. I can even give the naming to the functions. See, in my previous live class we have seen one simple program as functions as get data we have used, right? Display function we have taken. So I have given the name as display. Okay, I have given the name as get data. So these identifiers are helping you to give the name to the programming elements. Now how that we have different kinds of names like Rajesh, Shilpa, Shalini, Rahul. How it is we are giving the names? By using the alphabets we are able to give the names. Similarly in C++ programming language, by the help of identifiers we are able to give the names to the programming elements. But we have certain rules to follow to give the names to the identifiers. Let us see what are the rules. The first rule says that the identifier should always begin with an alphabet. Okay, or it can also begin with an underscore. Okay, then keywords should not be used as identifier. What is keyword? Keywords are nothing but they are the reserved words. Okay, we shall discuss. Like say for an example, int is a keyword. Now here int is a keyword. Why you can say int as a keyword? Because int specifies it is an integer. Okay, it tells the C++ compiler that it is a integer. It represents what? The whole number. I cannot use the int as identifier. Okay, I cannot use int as an identifier because it makes some special meaning to the compiler. Keywords cannot be used as an identifier. For an example, we have different kinds of identifiers like char. Okay, in our previous programming example I have taken int register number, char name I have taken. Char actually represents char. It's a character actually. For a short we call it as a char. So char represents what? It is of a type, data type is of type of alphabet. So such kinds of keywords that make a special meaning cannot be used as an identifier. Say for an example, someone's name I cannot keep as a table. Any person name cannot be a table. Why? Table, it has its own meaning, right? It is its own meaning. We cannot give any person's name as a table. Okay, that is how we cannot use the keywords as an identifiers. And no special character is allowed except the underscore. Whenever we are giving any namings to the programming language, C++ programming elements, we cannot use any other special characters like less than, equals to, not equals to. Only the underscore it will be used. Then identifier should be of reasonable length. Blank spaces cannot be used as an identifier, and identifiers are case sensitive. It treats the uppercase and lowercase characters differently. Now I will be showing you the examples so that you can clearly understand how we are able to name the identifiers. Say for example, student 5 is an valid identifier. What does our first rule says? The first rule identifier says that it should begin with an alphabets. So yes is an alphabet, it has begin, and we cannot use any other special character except the underscore, and we can use the digits. So student underscore 5 is a valid identifier. I can give student underscore 5. The next one is underscore marks. So as per the rules, it is beginning with either the alphabet or it should be begin with the underscore. So underscore marks is again a valid identifier. Again, it could be a combination of letters, digits, okay, that is alphabets and digits. Therefore, MRK 4 sub, that is mark 4 sub, is again a valid identifier. It doesn't make that it should make any sense like in English language, it should have certain meaning. No, it only whenever you are giving name, it should follow those rules, then it will be considered as one of the valid identifiers. Similarly, subject English. Actually for you it is a two different words, but subject space English is a not valid one, because as we know in case of rules, blank spaces cannot be included. To join them, okay, I have used the underscore. Now similarly, student is again a valid identifier. Similarly, this student is again a valid identifier because uppercase and lowercase character it treats differently. This student is quite different from this. For you to just see all the spellings are same, but no. So this student is a different identifier it treats, and this student it treats a different as an identifier. Rank 5 is again an valid identifier, okay, because it is starting with the alphabet here. Now let us move on to some of the invalid identifiers. See, it is starting with a digit, therefore I cannot give any, like I cannot give like int 2m is equal to 2m is equal to 10, I cannot give. Instead I can give students underscore 5 is equal to 10, I can give. It's an valid identifier for me, okay. I can give subject underscore English is equal to 50, it's an valid identifier. That means what? I'm moving the value 50 in the subject English. I'm repeating, subject English is equals to, okay, is equals to 50. If I write it here, 50 value is being moved in an identifier, that is subject underscore English. It's a variable because identifier is a process of giving the naming to the variable, but I cannot write 2m is equal to 50. Why? It's an invalid identifier. It gives an error because it is violating the rules. Similarly, $result, no any special characters are allowed except the underscore. Similarly, asterisk name is again an invalid identifier. Class captain is again an invalid identifier because there is a blank space here. Then register number, again an invalid identifier. You may say why it is so, because this is not an underscore, it's an hyphen. This is an underscore. So these are some of the valid identifiers and some of the invalid identifiers. I hope students you are able to understand how to give the names to the programming elements. Fine. Okay, let us move on to the next, that is keywords. Just now we discussed keywords cannot be used as an identifiers because keywords make some special meaning to the compiler. So the programmer is not allowed to change its meaning at all. As I said, int, it indicates it is an integer that represents the whole number. The programmer means that is we cannot change the meaning of it. So similarly, I gave an example as a table. Table is having its own meaning, therefore I cannot use the word table to name some any other person, isn't it? So in that way we have the different kinds of keywords. So these keywords provide us very intended purpose. That means they are being used only for the specific purpose. Therefore we cannot use them as the programmer defined elements. Programmer defined elements means, for example, these are the programmer defined elements. I have given this. Programmer defined in the sense that we have given a student here. I have given as rank 5 here. It could be any. I can give rank 50. I can give rank 15. I can give rank 1. So these are nothing but the programmer defined elements. Whatever our wish, but we need to follow the rules. That's it. But keywords cannot be used as I cannot give as int is equal to 10. I cannot give int is equal to 10. What exactly I am trying to do there? 10 is a value which is being trying to move into the variable known as int again. Int is a data type. Further int equal to 10 I cannot do. Why? I am making that integer as a variable. I am using it as a variable, but actually it is a keyword. I cannot use them as the identifiers there. Understood? So because they make some special meaning to the compiler. Say for an example, integer that represents the whole number, as I said. Character, it represents what? The alphabets. Whenever like name, I can specify data type as char name. That indicates name is a variable wherein it should contain only the alphabets. Next we have as a float. Suppose if I want to represent any fractional numbers, I can write as float a is equal to 5.5. That means what? It is telling that 5.5 is a value. It's a fractional number or a real number that is being stored in a variable known as a. Okay. Now that float is nothing but it indicates that it can hold the fractional or the decimal value. Similarly, class, isn't it? In class and objects in OOPS concepts we have taken as class student. Class is nothing but it is a template. It tells what it tells the objects what are the different data and functions it can include. Class is a template. It's acting as a blueprint. It makes some special meaning to the compiler, C++ compiler. Therefore, I cannot use such keywords as an identifiers. I hope students you are able to understand. So let us see some of the list of the keywords which we cannot use them as an identifiers. Like we have auto, we have break, we have case, catch, class. Okay, as you know, like float, okay, for, okay, go to is one of the branching statement, right? In the procedure programming language it was being used. Go to makes a special meaning. It says that it should jump from one statement to the another statement. It says that it should jump from one step to the another step. It gives some special meaning. Therefore, I cannot use the go to as the identifier because it makes some special meaning, right? Like in that case, we have if, we have int, we have long. Okay, so these are again some of the different kinds of void, while. Whenever I was telling about if else, some of the examples I have given, right? So all these comes under the keywords. So some more keywords are there. You can refer it into your textbook. Okay, so that is a big chart actually. I was unable to display. That's why with a very few common keywords I have been showing here. Now, I hope the concept is clear to you all students. Like we shall move to the next topic here. That is the next token we can move. That is variables. Now before we start with the next, that is token, we should have discussed about the constants and literals. Before we start with that token, let us know what exactly the variables, how to declare and define, because in further I may start giving and programming examples for you. That's why I'll just show you how to declare the variables. So what is a variable? It's a meaningful name given to the storage location in a computer memory. Okay, now as we've discussed in RAM, okay, the functional components of unit. So RAM is consisting of n number of storage locations, wherein each location has been identified by a unique cell address. Am I right? So variables are the one whose value can be changed during the execution time. Now here comes the declaration. Okay, that is how I declare data type followed by the variable name. Say for an example, int a, comma B you leave it, int A, then semicolon. Every statement in the C++ programming or C programming have to end with the semicolon. Therefore, now this statement int A, comma B, that means I am using the two variables, that is A, comma B, and I am telling the compiler that these are the two variables which can hold the type of data in them are, that is the whole numbers, that is the numbers without any fractional or the decimal part. Then char C, that means I am telling that C is a variable name of data type as character. I am telling float F is a variable name that can hold the value of floating point or the decimal point. Now I'll show you some more example. Okay, that is int A, comma B. Now, char C is equal to A. What is an A? A is an alphabet. As I said, C is a variable name that can hold only the alphabets, right? I can assign the value. This is what is assigned. This is just a declaration statement. I am telling the compiler that I am going to use the two variables of data type, that is integer. Now this is what I am telling is I am giving the value here. I am telling that C is a variable of data type as character and it is holding a value as A. Understood? Now similarly, I can even write it as float F is equal to 12.86. Students, I hope now you are able to understand. Now I can say A is an identifier, C is an identifier, F is an identifier, because I have given the names by following the rules. What does the rule say? Identifiers can begin with the alphabets. I can even could have given here as int underscore A I could have given. I can given as float underscore F is equal to 12.86 is also fine. The process of giving the naming to the programming elements is said to be as an identifiers. Okay. Then see, if I just want to declare, in my previous program what I had taken example, int A is equal to 5, comma B is equal to 10, comma C I have taken. So there C I have just declared, I am just telling that I am going to use a variable known as C of type integer. Similarly, if I just want to declare the variable data type followed by the variable name I can give. If I want to give the value to it, I can give, after declaring I can give x is equal to 10 I can give. Otherwise I can even specify as int x is equal to 10. This is nothing but defining a variable. Students, I hope you are able to understand how I have in my previous programming example. So here how did I declare these variables? Because this is what is, I am defining a variable. Along with the variable I am given the value. This is how, data type followed by the variable name is equals to an operator, then specify the value. Comma says that I'm n number of, like this you can create n number of variables. Comma says that this is one variable, this is one, this is one. Okay. Now this is just the declaration, that is int c it is. Okay. Fine. Now let us move on to the next token, that is the constants or the literals. Before to that, some more examples of variables let me show you. Now as I said, variable is a one that represents the memory location. In computer memory, when I declare as int age is equal to 20, when I say int age is equal to 20, this means what? In the computer, these are the storage locations, right? We have discussed in the functional units of computer, right? So 20 is being stored into the computer memory, where that storage location name is age. When I say age is equal to 20 means the 20 is the value, it is been assigned to a storage location name as age. Understood? So one more example I can say. Now int age is equal to 20. 20 represents value, age represents the variable name, and int represents the data. That means 20 is reserved memory for a variable known as age. I hope now we are able to understand the clear concept of variables. Okay, let us move on to that is the next topic, that is constants or the literals. Now this is one of the token. Now what is this constant? Okay, we can refer the constant as an literals also. Now constant is a fixed value that does not change during the execution of the program. Now variable is a one which can change the value. I could have written in my previous program what I was saying, that c is equal to a plus b. I can, same statement I can refer it as, that is e is equal to a plus b. A is equal to a plus b I can refer. Variables are the ones whose value can be changed after you execute a program. E is equal to a plus b, when I say that, the value of a was initially 5, the value of b was initially as 10. So after calculating, the value of c was actually, c is equal to a plus b, the value of c would become 15. But if I, same statement if I write as a is equal to a plus b, that a plus b 15 value will be moved on to the variable to the left hand side, that is a. Now the new value of a will become what? 15. That's why I said assignment always happens from right hand side to the left hand side. It is not like a is equal to a plus b. It is actually a plus b is equal to a. Okay, I'm saying that is, it's not as c is equal to a plus b, it is actually a plus b is equal to c. Therefore the value of c after addition would become as 15. That means what I'm trying to tell is the variables are the one. When I write a is equal to a plus b, when I write it as, so the value of the variable a can be changed. After a is equal to a plus b, the value of the new value of a would become 15. But if I declare a variable as a constant, if I declare it, okay, then those values will never be changed during the execution of the program. Okay, if I declare the variable as a as constant, if I declare it, the value of the, even if I write a is equal to a plus b also, it will not change. Instead it will give an error saying that a you have declared as the constant. Now this constant are being classified basically into 4 types. The first one is the integer, the second is the floating, the point, then the next is the character, and the next is the string. Again the further classification of the integer constants are, that is the Decimal indicates its base is 10. So decimal integer constant we have, octal integer constants we have, hexadecimal integer constants we have, and then unsigned constant we have. So this classification is very, very important. If they are asking you the 2 marks question, so give the classifications of constants or literals. So just drawing this diagram gives you the 2 marks. If they are asking for 5 marks, then briefly you should explain about what is integer, floating, character, string with an examples. So this concepts we shall study it into the next video, students. I hope till now whatever we have discussed you are able to understand. Thank you, students. Take care of yourself.